From the Department of Communication in Phillipsburg, this is a special edition of Inside Government with Cedric Peterson.
To our audience here at home and around the world, you're now Inside Government. Welcome to the program. In this edition of the program, we continue to speak about preparations that the government undertakes for the peak of the hurricane season. We started off with Mr. Joseph Isaac, head of the Meteorological Department, speaking about the weather and climatology. Where are we right now when it comes to the weather? We spoke to head of the Public Service Center, Ms. Emilia Connor-Thomas, concerning how the Public Center goes about their preparations when it comes to services. And now, continuing along the lines of services to the public, we've invited head of the Civil Registry, Mrs. Kathy Snijders. Kathy, it's great to have you in the program.
Good day, Cedric. Thank you for your invitation. It's a pleasure for me to be here and having this interview with you.
And it's a pleasure to have you. Kathy, as we talk about the government's preparation that they take when it comes to the peak of the hurricane season, we want to get the Civil Registry's perspective, because the Civil Registry serves as what I like to define as the pulse of the data of the people of this country. Give us some insight. Why is the Civil Registry a central part of our community and our governance?
Okay, the Civil Registry carries out the data of all the citizens registered on St. Martin on a specific address. And what we can do with this is we can inform government, the different departments, of persons living in such area whereby, let's say, if the hurricane didn't hit everywhere but a specific area, we can give them a query of all the persons that are registered on that particular address, for instance. We can also give a list of persons, elderly person, where are they located? And that's very important for persons to be registered on the correct address. A lot of persons don't know the importance of this registry. However, it is an essential part of government when a disaster happens, to inform the government, our prime minister, our parliamentarians, our Department of Social, Department of, and any department that needs key information of where can I find a person. We are the department that can provide that information to the government.
And it's critical, too, that the community is aware of the role it plays in ensuring that that information is accurate. Please remind the general public how they can go about making sure that their information is up to date.
Okay. Once again, we want to remind the citizens of St. Martin to register on the correct address. You can come to the building on appointments. I have to mention this before, Cedric. We work mostly on appointment. We have a walk-in slots in the morning for registration form. But other than that, we only work on appointment. We have a very friendly system that you can go online and make your appointment. We will discuss that maybe after. But we work on appointment, as I was mentioning. We will invite persons to go online, make their appointment for address change or for ID or drive license, passport, whatever that they need to do, enable them to be on the correct address. That's one priority for us. When persons come to get a registration form, we ask them, what is your correct address? And if it's not matching what our data has, we ask them to update that. So we ask you to bring either GB bill. I know at this particular moment they have some difficulty with that part, but then we ask them a landlord form with a copy of the ID card from the landlord, or we ask them to bring a contract, whatever agreement they have with the landlord on paper, they can bring it, and we will use one of those three forms of document to update their address. Also, we do ask them if they have a deed. They can bring it as well. However, the deed has to have the correct address, not the lot number, how they used to say kavel. It has to have the address itself. That's one part of first having yourself register in the correct address. That's the first step for us. And the second part is your identification, your ID card and your drive license. We ask you to update these. It's very important. And one most important thing is right now our ID card. Since 2017, we have this one and our drive license, not the older type. So since 2017 in August, the old versions has expired. We only have this version right now. So you cannot use the other versions. They are expired. So I remind everyone to come and renew your ID and your drive license if you're still carrying the old version of the drive license.
Excellent. Something to keep in mind, making sure that you're up to date and that your information is completely valid. Final question before we close out this first segment, Kathy. Your department is divided in two areas, front office and back office. Explain the differences there and the differences in the services offered.
Okay, our back office does more the civil registrar parts where they do the birth, registering of a birth, death, marriage, intention of marriage, and the first time registration in the system. We also do confirmation letter for the governor when someone wants to become Dutch. We do the control in the back office. And the front office mainly handles the application for registration form, ID card, driver license, passport, declarations of nationality, and I forgot, back office does also family tree. So the division is there also to have a level of security within the department.
We're speaking to head of the Civil Registry at the Government of St. Martin under the Ministry of General Affairs, Miss Kathy Snijders. You're Inside Government. Stay with us. Our conversation with Kathy continues right after these public service announcements.
The Civil Registry Department brings you a message on requesting a family tree.
A family tree shows the link in the relationship between people in several generations of a family. This can be requested at the Civil Registry Department and can be used at the notary for court proceedings. To request a family tree, you must submit the following to the Civil Registry Department: valid identification, a letter with a short description stating the purpose of your visit, relationship to the family, personal data on the person whom the tree is being requested, personal data of family members, mention up to which generation you are requesting the family tree, telephone number, home or mobile, email address, preferred communication channel, authorization letter if necessary with copy of identification of authorized person. Persons whose information were not updated or were not registered in the basic administration will not be included in the family tree. Payment of 80 guilders must be made to process your request. Depending on the length of research, an additional 80 guilders will be charged. Please contact the Civil Registry Department for more information at Swaliga Road No. 1, Phillipsburg, St. Martin, or call us at 1-721-542-0652 or email us at burgerzakensxm@stmartingov.org. You can also visit our website at www.stmartingov.org, Civil Registry, Back Office Services.
This public service announcement was brought to you by the Civil Registry Department. During the hurricane season, a potential tropical cyclone can produce rainfall that can cause flash flooding and rock falls. Residents in areas prone to flooding or near the coast should make the necessary preparations to protect life and property. Stay away from flood-prone areas during heavy rainfall, such as L.B. Scott Road from Emilio Wilson Park until Cake House Supermarket, Zaker's Gut from Petro Plus gas station until the Seventh-day Adventist Church, Welka-Laken Road in Cahill, from Welka-Laken Road roundabout until the One-Tete Loke roundabout. Beacon Hill Road from Sunset Bar and Grill until the beginning of White Sands Road. Rhine Road, also known as Mullet Bay Road, after Sonesta Maho Beach Hotel, to the entrance of Kupakoi from the intersection of University Drive until the intersection of Rio Grande. For more information on how you can keep yourself and your family safe this hurricane season, visit stmartingov.org/hurricane. This public service announcement is brought to you by the government of St. Martin.
Welcome, you are Inside Government. If you just tuned in, I'm speaking to Head of the Civil Registry under the Government of St. Martin, under the Ministry of General Affairs, Ms. Kathy Snijders. Kathy, we are talking about how government, of course, is preparing and during the peak of the hurricane season and the steps that the Civil Registry takes. We've just closed out there talking about the different services offered, front office and back office at your department. Passports being a very critical document, now been upgraded to like 10 years. Have we seen individuals get better in their understanding of how to ensure that their passports are up to date and need to be renewed? I know it's been a campaign for the past 12 years as country. Have we seen an improvement, or have people kind of actually gotten a little bit more lax because of the fact that the passport has now increased to 10 years? Tell us your perspective and what you've seen over the years.
Okay, Cedric, what happens is that the peak of 10 years will reach in 2023 because we did go over to the 10 years in 2013. That means next year we will see if persons will remember to renew their passports on time. And maybe it's a reminder from now on to start putting in your agenda to make your appointment. You can make appointment from now on for next year. Beginning of March, because it was in March that it went in. So I will friendly remind everyone to go and make their appointment to renew their passports for the ones that did it in 2013. However, we still have a lot of persons that comes in during vacation time and with emergency that they have to travel. Sometimes children are left behind maybe because of no valid passport. So I do recommend persons to look into their passport before they make any travel arrangements. Don't make your travel arrangements and then come to the registry. And persons get upset sometimes because they think we make the passport here. We don't make the passports here on the island. The passports are sent through our digital system to the Netherlands, and we will await to receive the passports. We give them a 4-week time to collect the passport. However, we can even prolong it with the next 4 weeks. So you have to take at least 2 months, that's 8 weeks, in consideration to make your passports. And it is still a hazard sometimes when it comes to vacation time that the passports are not there. They will call us every day or come every day here to see if the passports reach, and even get sometimes upset to our staff members as of we were the ones that made the mistake or did it. But nevertheless, we keep on smiling with them and explain them the procedure, that we cannot do anything in regards to the passport reaching to the island. Is when it reaches and we have it in our hands, we can give it out. But other than that, there's no emergency fee that you can pay to get the passport before time. It's simply a procedure that is not for the island. So it's only in the Netherlands you will get, or the consuls abroad, they have this procedure. But for St. Martin and the other islands, I'm sure we don't have the procedure of paying extra fee. However, for this time of the year, when hurricane season is in, I would like to inform and remind everybody to renew their passport on time. Make your appointments. Sometimes you have a 2 weeks waiting period for your appointment, but please make your appointment. At least make it. Don't say, oh, it's too long. No, 2 weeks pass fast. I can assure you that. And as soon as you come in, we will make procedure to send the passport abroad, the application, and you will receive your passport. Also, from medical persons that have medical issue, don't wait until you. This is one of the most sensitive things that we have to deal with it on the island, is that for some medical treatment, you have to leave the island. And I always say, especially if we reach a certain age maybe, but nowadays age doesn't matter. It's always have your passport renewed. And yes, the passport is a key element to travel.
Kathy, what tips do you offer to individuals, especially during the peak of the hurricane season, to go about protecting their essential documents like their driver's license, national ID, and passport?
Okay, first of all, my suggestion is always to have them valid. Secondly, is to have them in a safe place. You can put them in a Ziploc bag first and then put them in if you have a safe home, leave it in the safe. Don't always walk with your passport, walk with your ID card. That's the important to walk with on the island. The passport, yes, you want to believe that if you have to travel immediately, you will have the passport at hand, but you have to go home maybe to get some clothes as well. So put always that you have to have your passport in a safe as well. If you don't have a safe, put it in a very specific place. Maybe make notation of it somewhere in your telephone or somewhere with a code that you know where your passport is. Because we do get a lot of persons calling as well. I lost my passport. And first thing that I say always, go look. Give it 2 days. Think about it. Where did you use it last? Or where did you put it? Don't put your passport anywhere. You have to have a specific place that you put your passport, and a dry place. Don't put it in the water or where it can be wet, but in a Ziploc and somewhere specific where you can have it. And thirdly, I will always say make a copy of it. Scan it in a private document, not put it on Facebook, not put it on social media, but please have it in a specific place in your computer scan, that at least if something happened to the passport, you can always prove your copy of it to be able to help the process faster to regain a new passport.
We're talking to Kathy Snijders, head of the Civil Registry under the Ministry of General Affairs, on how you can make sure you're protecting your essential documents, passport, driver's license, national ID, especially during the peak of the hurricane season. My conversation with Kathy continues right after these public service announcements. Stay with us.
St. Martin, listen up. The Civil Registry Department has taken 7 services online. That's right, you can now request a family tree, local address change, migration deregistration, a registration form, request for existing certificates, transfer your driver's license, and a driver's license declaration, all online. Go to services.stmartingov.org/civil registry and easily complete a request form for the service that you need. You can also pay for the services online using a major credit card or debit card and receive certain final products digitally as well. No traffic jams, no waiting in lines. And if you're on island or off, you now have full digital access to 7 civil registry services at services.stmartingov.org/civil registry. That's services.stmartingov.org/civil registry. For more information, call 542-0652. Now go online and request your service form today.
If you just joined us, thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of this edition of Inside Government, where we're having a conversation with Ms. Kathy Snijders. She's the head of the Civil Registry Department under the Ministry of General Affairs within the government of St. Martin. And we're talking about how to prepare at the peak of the hurricane season and how government goes about it directly through the Civil Registry. And we're talking about how to secure your documents in this segment. Kathy, you mentioned when a person basically loses their passport, and it triggers the question, what is the procedure to get your passport again if one has misplaced it?
Okay. Once you have established that your passport is lost, you look for it. Like I said, take your time, think about it, and you cannot find it. You make your appointment by us and you come direct to us. And you don't have to bring no type of documentation other than if you have your ID card, you bring that for us. So you bring your identification, and with your identification, we can start the process. We have all the forms here, so you don't have to go to the police department for passports. You come direct to us with your identification, your ID or your drive license, and we will start the procedure by printing all the forms that you have to fill out. You fill them by us, and you pay the fee of 210, or if it's a child, 150 guilders. We don't charge extra fee for the passports. However, I want to remind person that you cannot apply each time for a lost passport without consequences, because the Dutch law has a protection with the passports. When you lose your passport 3 or more times, then it will be recorded and we will put a block to it for your passport, and the Dutch government will then decide if you can get your passport and for how long. So they have this special part in the law, procedure in the law, that you have to be mindful of it. So I always tell persons, don't come twice in a year or 3 times in a year, say you lost your passport, because it brings a light bulb that will go off. And once that is, you will be investigated. We will have to send, it's an automatic generated system that will send information to the Netherlands system saying, hey, this person has declared their passport lost 2-3 times already. And that's why I always tell the persons, think about it before you come and say you have lost. So for the lost passport, there's no extra procedure. It's simple. You make your appointment, you come to our department, and then you do your new request for your passport. For the drive license, I want to say that it's a different procedure. The drive license has a few more steps to it. First of all, you come by us, you have to get a declaration of your previous drive license or the drive license that you lost. With this, you go to the police department, get the police report on it, bring it back to us, and then you can apply for your new drive license. So drive license is more tedious, and drive license is very key if you're driving. So make sure if you lost your drive license, come by us. There's a fee, $10 for the declaration of the drive license. Go to the police, make the report, make your new appointment, come back by us, and to renew your drive license is 200 guilders. Please don't forget you need your eye control by the doctor, so the medical declaration has to be in place as well, together with other form of identification, your ID or your passport. And for your ID card, it's a little bit more simple as well. You just come back to us, you declare your loss of identification. If you have other form of identification, you can bring it. That helps the process. If you don't have, we have tools to go about it, to put in your new request for your ID card. And your ID card is, it depends your age as well, but the regular fee is $70 if you lost your ID card.
Kathy, if you got a 10-year passport, and the last time you and I actually had the chance to talk, we spoke about this, that people can become a little bit complacent with a 10-year period on their passport. That's why it's essential to make sure that you take an opportunity to put a schedule in your smartphone as a reminder. You can do that, way in advance and keep yourself reminded of making sure you renew. But what happens when someone lapses on their passport and it expires and they wait too long? Can you please explain the issue that one can experience in that situation?
Okay. Cedric, what we have to make the distinguish in is the passport of persons that has dual nationality. Don't forget, dual nationality exists, and you cannot become stateless if you have only one passport or one nationality. Let me say it like that. We are not allowed to let persons become stateless on the Dutch law. However, if you have dual nationality, you have American nationality and you have the Dutch, you carry two passports and you're in the United States and you don't renew your Dutch, that is an indication that you don't value the Dutch nationality anymore. And that means you can lose the Dutch nationality. The law just changed that now you can lose it after 13 years. Before it was 10 years because of the increase of the passport time, validation of the passport. Now it's 13 years that if you don't renew, and the 13 years goes in effect on the day that you request the previous passport, not on the day that it expired. Some people think, I had this passport and it only expired a few years, 4 or 5 years. No, we count from the day that you have applied for the previous passport. And if you lapse and you have dual nationality, you have it is possible that you can lose the Dutch nationality. So the Dutch law is very strict in certain things, and I always remind everyone to renew your passport on time, a few months prior to travel. Traveling to the United States, you need to have a passport valid at least for 6 months when you're coming back out of the States. So that is also something that you have to remind yourself of.
Kathy, we're wrapping up the program now, giving you the final opportunity to offer some words of advice to the general public.
Anytime you need Civil Registry Department, you can call us by phone 542-0652, or you can make appointment as well, appointment.stmartingov.org/services. Make your appointment. It's 5 easy steps within the government.
Kathy Snijders, head of the Civil Registry under the Ministry of General Affairs within the government of St. Martin. Kathy, thank you so much for being a part of this edition of Inside Government.
Cedric, thank you very much once again. And I appreciate that we can inform our general public on the topics of Civil Registry Department.
And to our radio listeners, television viewers, here at home and around the world, thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of this edition of Inside Government. If you've missed my conversation with Miss Kathy Snijders, be sure to catch it in video on demand in 2 locations. That's at the Facebook page of the Government of St. Martin, facebook.com/SXMGOV. Become a subscriber to the official government YouTube channel. That's youtube.com. That's at Government of St. Martin. And for audio playback, be sure to stay tuned in throughout the course of the day at St. Martin Gov Radio 107.9 FM for audio playback. On behalf of my colleagues down at the Civil Registry and all of us here at the Department of Communication, thank you so much for tuning in.